Welcome to the first episode of the Sales and Marketing Show, powered by Emerald's Digital Solution, the predictive ROI company. We're a lead generation, lead nurturing, and lead conversion solutions company. And this show is all about answering your questions and concerns around sales and marketing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all our social media platforms. You'll be glad you did. And please also check our website, check our blog post. We drop content every day of the business week. So guys, make sure you send in your questions, your queries, your comments. You can comment below, on any marketing questions that you have. So let's get into the meat of the day, right? What we want to discuss today is how to run a successful sales campaign, particularly B2B sales campaign. As you know that sales in business to business is peculiar as against when you are doing a B2C. Now in B2C, that's business to consumer. Most of the time you have a retail channel where people can actually get their product or services. But when it comes to B2B, it's more sophisticated. It involves a lot of buying centers. It involves a lot of lobbying, getting meetings, talking to key influencers, key decision makers, and whatnot. So guys, what does it take to run a successful sales campaign for B2B? The first thing you have to do is to have a strategy. And that strategy will mean understanding your, doing a SWOT analysis of your business. You need to check out your strength, your weakness, your opportunity and threat relative to the market, because you always want to be sure that you are positioned, properly. You are competitive as you want to go to market. So basically, you need to do that as a critical part of your strategy. Very close to that is to define your ideal customer profile, and it's in two forms. You need to define the ideal account profile, which is IAP, and also the ideal prospect profile, which is we call IPP. Now I'm going to explain that. For the ideal account profile, what you want to do is to check, the customer. And in this instance, we're talking about businesses. So at this point, you also have to know exactly what your target is, right? Is it micro business, small business, medium scale business, large enterprises, and those are even in two categories. You have the giant one, you have the one $1 billion and above, depending on your classification. Now you must get your classification right. One of the things you must check in pursuing a prospect is if they have the financial capability to be able to, get your product or sign up for your service. So you really want to get that right. And in that instance, you are talking about firmography, you're talking about geography, and you're talking about product market fit, which is very critical for you to check. So you want to check the number of staff, the revenue per annum, So for example, in Nigeria, hope you know that according to Smeden, there are about 45 million businesses, registered businesses in Nigeria. But you know what I find shocking, right? About 44 point something million, which is like 99%, are micro businesses. So you see why you must get your ideal account profile right. Because you can naturally assume that Nigeria is a large country. Yeah, then, again, you look at the stat and see that we have 45 million, businesses. So you say Nigeria, we're entrepreneurial, we're vibrant. But understand that 44 point something million around that are actually micro businesses. That's businesses, according to Smeden, 1 to 10 staff, max, right? And their asset base is 5 million to 0, You can see that, right? Then in the second scale, medium scale businesses, they're about 1,000 plus, imagine, in the whole of Nigeria. And the stat actually shows that there's a 61% thereabout, 51 or 61% drop, from what it used to be. That means some of them have become, because of the economic situation and the environment that is not enabling, they've become small businesses. Now, you have about 72,000 small businesses. So guys, that gives you a rough idea of what you're dealing with. So that's why you need to get the ideal customer profile right. Because, for example, remember, it's out of this, category that you now choose the industry you want to play. So that makes it slimmer and slimmer. So you see the reason why some companies, there's some salespeople struggle to meet their quota, because you have not clearly defined, I've just even spoken about size and revenue now. There are other things that you have to look at. The geography, because for example, you have to match your operations, right, to the clients that you are serving. So if you cannot deliver a product or a service out of Lagos, then suddenly you are restricted to Lagos client alone. That depletes also the number of prospects that you can reach out to. So guys, on that side, we're still going to deal extensively with that in subsequent episodes. But now let's talk about the ideal prospect. So that's one of the major areas that people miss it. So when you're talking about prospect, there are 4 types of people that you need to man in a business-to-business transaction. They are the gatekeepers. How do you maneuver and navigate them, quote and unquote? And you have the users, that you have the influencers, that you have the key decision maker. Your ability to be able to identify those categories within a buying process is one of the critical success factors to you having effective sales or closing that sales. Where to start from when you're trying to define your ideal prospect profile is first the job title. It must be clear. And one of the things you must also do in that regard is to find the variation in that name. So for example, a marketing manager also can bear the name business development manager, marketing lead, brand manager, senior brand manager, and all sort of names, market expansion leader and whatnot. So within that spectrum, you need to find all the possible synonyms of their job title, so that you are able to effectively capture, because the name, the nomenclature will vary from company to company. So you don't want to miss out on potentials, right? So you do that. The next thing you need to check is to check their job description. And one of the things you want to check in job description is you want to check their key performance indicator, their KPIs, because they are going to be focusing on that. Remember, that's what they are going to measure them on, their effectiveness and their performance. So you want to see how there's going to be alignment, because one of the things you do as somebody selling products or services is how that process or your product is going to enhance the life of the other person. So in this case, when you're talking about accounting, then you want to check the job description of the accountant to know, okay, he's supposed to prepare P&L, he's supposed to do this and do that. He's supposed to save, the company year on year, maybe 20 to 30% cash. So in that gives you an idea of how because at the end of the day, remember, there must be that product fit. Your products must align with their need, which is based on their objective or their pain point, right? One of the things you need to also spot, apart from KPI, will be the potential challenges. The challenges that can potentially hinder the achievement of that KPI. So one of the things you want to do is to position your product as an instrument that can help, in helping them to achieve their results. So you want to check that. Very importantly, which you must minimize, is to check what the motivation of those individuals are. In a B2B conversation, you might want to leave out some personal stuff. And some of these insights, I'm going to tell you subsequently how to get, this when you're doing lead research, which will be our next topic. How do you research a lead and all of that? Because you might be wondering, how will I know all of these things? So let me quickly wrap up. Now for the first one, right? What you need to do is to check, when you're trying to look at the job description, you must go for the job description of companies within that industry, and you can get that through LinkedIn Jobs. Do a basic Google search. It will bring out an ideal, job vacancy or job advertisement for that particular role, and that can help you, particularly from the industry you are trying to target. By the time you get about 5 to 10 job advertisement, from that same industry, you'll be able to aggregate that data point to know, okay, these are the basic, maybe job objective or job description that works across this sector, and KPIs and all of that. So you are able to do that. And the next thing you begin to look at is, what are the individual motivation? So you might want to leave out the personal one and focus on the business one. So for example, one of the ways you get that is, if by chance you have access to the person's CV, people upload CV in different places, or even on their LinkedIn profile. When you go to their bio, you are able to, see their bio on LinkedIn or any other place where they've left their profile. That can give you an idea of what they're trying to achieve. And so, because in this game, you want to match, having a good, account profile with a great ideal customer profile. Once you match both together, that's the ideal account profile and the ideal prospect profile. You have what we call, that's the ideal customer profile. So you've been able to profile at business level and you've been able to profile at role level. So that's the first place you start in your sales campaign. I hope this helps. So guys, before you go, if you want a free strategy session, please go to our website, www.emeraldis.com.ng, and try to fill the form. We help you with your lead nurturing, lead generation, and lead conversion. Please don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and also follow us across all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel.